How's it going, everyone? I am not Steve, but welcome to this video where I turn Minecraft mobs into superheroes and villains. The last video gained 600 views, which extremely surpassed my expectations, so let's see if the sequel can outperform the original. Anyway, y'all know what to do. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's go on to the time-lapse. Craig Creek had an unfortunate childhood. He was born with hydrocephalus, scoliosis, really pale and rough skin, and an unusual third eye located on his cheek. He was bullied and harassed relentlessly growing up, to a point where he would run away as a teenager and never return home. He fled into a forest covered in pale oak trees, where he felt right at home. There were no people around to judge him. He almost felt content for the first time in his life. He suddenly heard a noise. It almost sounded like a heartbeat beckoning him. He would wander into the forest aimlessly, listening for the heartbeat. As he got closer to the source, the sound would get louder and louder. He found the source of the rhythmic sound, a tall, pale oak tree with a glowing orange center, pulsing with every beat. He placed his hand on the tree, and his heartbeat perfectly synced up with the trees. Suddenly, flowers around the base of the tree bloom, and they look a lot like Craig's eyes, almost like Craig and his forest were linked together. Craig knelt down to get a better look at the flowers, and as he placed his hands on the ground, more flowers and moss started to grow. It was then Craig realized he had the powers to control nature, or at least in this forest. He would make a home in this forest and live out the rest of his life here. Or at least he will try. A group of rowdy teenagers started to hike within this forest, littering and scaring the wildlife. This infuriated Craig, but he was going to leave them alone, hoping they would just leave. But one teen found a tree with a beating heart, and thought it would be really funny to carve his initials into it. He pulls out his pocket knife, and as the blade pierces the tree, Craig felt a stabbing sensation. Then he rips off a piece of the bark, and now Craig has had enough. He will sneak up behind the teen, grab the arm holding the knife, and bends it backwards, breaking the bones. The teen screamed in pain and fled the scenes with his friends. Craig picks up the fallen bark, cuts 3 eye holes, and puts it on his face, wearing it like a mask. A few years pass, and there was another disturbance in the forest. A real estate mogul with a bushy mustache and a girl with red hair walks into the forest with a group of lumberjacks. The man has a charismatic but also a conniving personality, and Craig knew he was up to no good. He would stalk the lumberjacks, and as they got closer to the pale oak tree, Craig would attack. The man with the bushy mustache came back, looking for the lumberjacks, but all he could find were axes and chainsaws on the ground. He turns around and sees Craig towering before him. The man was petrified, but Craig pointed to a clearing and uttered,
"Leave now."
The man ran and put up a sign at the entrance to the forest saying, "Private property. Do not enter." Word will spread of Craig, almost like campfire stories. People were calling him the Creaking, on account his bones creak every time he moved. Some people didn't believe in the stories, and others will take this as a challenge to harass Craig like it was his childhood all over again. But be warned, if you ever enter the Pale Gardens, you may not come out alive. Chelsea Ray Spin lived a modest life with her family. She had a younger brother who she would look after while her parents worked in the mines. One day, Chelsea and her brother were channel surfing and came across the news.
Breaking news, there was an explosion at the mines. Sources say there was a man clad in green camo shouting and unleashing explosions from his hands. One of the explosions found its way inside the mines, causing it to collapse, and there was no survivors. If you know the whereabouts of this man who goes by the Creeper, contact the authorities immediately, but do not engage with him. It was then Chelsea and her brother were orphaned. They both watched the TV with tears streaming down their faces, not saying a word. Both Chelsea and Webster were both born with powers. Chelsea developed her powers when she was a freshman in high school. She can spin webs, climb walls, camouflage with her surroundings, and has a strength proportional to a spider. And as for Webster, he had the same powers, but he can also grow long claws from his forearms and secrete a poisonous acid anywhere from his body, which he found out while he was being attacked by a bully, biting and hospitalizing him. They both could have saved their parents if they were there. Of course, they didn't know something like this would have happened, but they still felt guilty. It was then Chelsea devoted her life to becoming a crime-fighting hero, but with the knowledge of the Creeper taking her parents away from her, she decided the best thing to do
was to eliminate this world of villains, saying they lost a chance to redeem themselves the minute they walked the path of evil. Webster, on the other hand, who had a history with mental illness, wanted to take revenge on the whole world, one person at a time. Chelsea donned an anti-hero persona, the Spider, and started hunting villains at night. She would gain a negative reputation in the hero community, but she didn't care. As long as there is one less villain in this world, then she knows she is doing her job. One night, she hears a scream coming from an alleyway. She rushed in to see a short man fighting a civilian. She webs him, telling him to stop, but then the villain spits in her face, the saliva burns, and the villain fires a web back at her. It was then Chelsea realized that the short villain was her kid brother. It was a stalemate, as both siblings were staring at each other, and the civilian ran away in a panic. "What are you doing here, Webster?" Chelsea asked in a stern tone. Her brother responded with, "Don't call me that. That name died with Mom and Dad. I and Kay Spire now, and this world will feel the same pain as I feel." What can Chelsea do? She can't kill her brother. She tells him to leave, but Kay Spire wants to fight. Chelsea holds up her hands and tells him to fight her if he wants, but she refuses to fight him. Some time passes, and Kay Spider is standing there in a battle stance, but he doesn't move. Instead, he jumps on the wall, climbing it, and runs away. This wouldn't be the last time Chelsea runs into him, but every time they fight, she tries to encourage him to stand down and turn himself in. But he always refuses. Chelsea will think twice about eliminating villains now. She will still kill if she absolutely needs to, but now she will use less lethal forms of attacks. Maybe some villains can redeem themselves, or at least that's what she hopes, because there might come a day where she would have to put down her own brother, and she fears that day might come soon. Daniel Wraith looked like your typical goth loner. They listened to metal music, wore gothic clothes, had piercings and tattoos, but they were hiding a dark secret. They were obsessed with watching people sleeping. They would sneak around the neighborhood being a total creep, peeping into people's windows, watching them as they sleep. They were a nuisance in this town, and would on many occasions be arrested for this odd behavior. They had a pattern. They had watched the same house for 3 days, and switched to a new house. But one night, things took a dark turn. They found a house to watch and waited in the bushes. On day 1, the person was awake, watching the TV. Day 2, the same thing. The person was on the couch, watching a cage match between a man in a bright pink leather jacket fighting a zombie riding a mutated chicken, not knowing they were being watched. On the 3rd day, he was eating takeout while playing a game on his computer. And on the 4th day, he was texting his friend, and the fact that this man hasn't slept in days infuriated Daniel. The person was walking to their door, and Daniel jumped into the bushes. He got into his car and drove off. Daniel will follow him to a nightclub and watch him while pretending to be a normal person. They watched this person leave and followed him out, and when the coast was clear, they would grab him and stab him 4 times, licking the blood off the knife, savoring it. They left a note in the victim's blood saying, "You should have stayed in bed." Not only was Daniel a weird stalker, but they also had powers. Their powers, like most people in Mojang, developed during adolescence. Their powers are vampiric. He needs to consume blood in order to live. They also have the ability to fly and have night vision. But they have one weakness: the sunlight burns their skin. News spread of this grisly murder, and the media called this killer the Phantom, on the account that nobody witnessed the attack. This inspired Daniel, so they made themselves a costume, and became the notorious serial killer, the Phantom of Mojang. Cooper Goldman is the younger brother of Eduardo Goldman, better known as the Iron Golem. Eduardo tried to keep his double life a secret from his family, but he wasn't very good at hiding his secret identity. Eventually his sister, older brother, Butler, and now Cooper all know about his superhero exploits. Cooper found out about his superhero persona after he was cleaning and reorganizing their mansion. Usually this was their butler's job, but Cooper has a really bad case of OCD and wanted to organize everything to his liking. And if something was out of place, he would make sure everyone knows about it. He was alphabetizing the bookcase in Eduardo's study, and as he pulls a book out, a secret door opens to what Eduardo calls the garage, a massive underground lair with different armored suits. Eduardo was on the Golem computer, listening to a police scanner as he felt a tap on his shoulder. He jumped out of his chair and ready to fight. Then he looked down to see Cooper. He came clean about being the Iron Golem, and Cooper shouted enthusiastically that he wanted to be a sidekick. But Eduardo refuses, saying it was too dangerous. Cooper revealed to Eduardo that he has started to develop powers, therefore he will be safe. Eduardo will question Cooper about his abilities. Then Cooper demonstrated by yanking some exposed wires from one of Eduardo's damaged suits, saying he can absorb electricity, but that's it. He can't get a power boost like the villain Creeper or shoot electricity back out. So unless they were fighting a lightning-based supervillain, Cooper can't be Eduardo's psychic. But this didn't sound like a no for Cooper. Eduardo allowed Cooper to stay in the garage as long as he doesn't reveal his secret. Cooper agreed, and suddenly the Golem computer started beeping. The Creeper was spotted in the mines fighting Rascal, the teleporting hero, and was losing control. Eduardo suited up and told Cooper not to download any games on the Golem computer. When he left, Cooper got to work building his own Golem suit. He was a smart kid for his age, and Eduardo left behind some blueprints out in the open, so he started building it and would hide it whenever Eduardo came back. He worked on the suit for days until he finished it, a copper suit with a lightning rod on the helmet, and a copper backpack so he can bring supplies and stay organized wherever he goes. After a week, Cooper would stay in the garage while Eduardo was out on patrol. Even though he was told not to, he downloaded a game on the Golem computer. It was an indie voxel game about survival and creativity, but suddenly, he got an alert. The villain known as the Ravager was attacking people at a train station. Cooper suited up for the first time and made it to the location. He tried to say something cool and heroic, but once he saw the towering villain, he froze, almost looking like a statue. The Ravager charged at Cooper, but was then stopped by the Iron Golem. Eduardo grabbed the Ravager by the horns and threw him aside. He told the civilians to run and grabbed the still frozen Cooper and took him to safety, but as he was running, Ravager rams into Eduardo, knocking him over, throwing Cooper to the ground. Cooper watched in horror as the Ravager repeatedly stomps his foot onto Eduardo's head. What can Cooper do? He was so terrified he can't move a muscle. He sees Eduardo's helmet breaking, slowly revealing his face. He knew he can't let Eduardo's secret be revealed to the public, so without thinking, Cooper charges in to fight. His Copper Golem suit gives him a strength boost just like Eduardo's, so he leaps in the air and punches Ravager in the face. Ravager is now furious. How dare he get sucker punched by a child? He grabbed the kid and was about to tear him to two, until a man with gray skin and dark bushy eyebrows walked out of the shadows. Heal, Ravager. You wouldn't want the blood of an innocent child on your hands, do you? The man was Evoker Illager, a member of the Illager crime family and a skilled sorcerer. Ravager begrudgingly drops Cooper and leaves the train station with Evoker. Eduardo wakes up and thanks Cooper for the save back there, but also berates him for fighting crime when he specifically told him not to. But he realized Cooper is still going to do this. So if he was going to be a hero, he first needs to train like one. So Eduardo started Cooper's training sessions to prepare him for his new future as the Copper Golem. Alright, and there we have it. Minecraft mobs as superheroes and villains, and god, these titles are getting long. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really like how the art turned out. I say that in like every episode. Then again, I probably won't make a video where I make art that I don't like. Although that might be a good April Fool's video. Purposely make bad art. But anyway, that's future T-Rav stuff. So yeah, I did left some Easter eggs in the Creaking backstory. So if you want to understand the full context of those, I will leave a link to the Skybox Kingdoms playlist. It's an SMP created by some of my friends who do Minecraft content, so if you like Minecraft Let's Plays, I do recommend checking them out. They make really good videos. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for this video, so if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun, fancy YouTuber stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. T-Rav signing out. See ya!